Okay, so here's another one for you. And, like my new glasses. Here's another one for you. Anger. We have all been angry at someone, angry with someone. Most of us, all of us have had other people angry with us. Anger is a very, very interesting thing. I was explaining in my last video that I recently had a falling out with a relative, with a loved one, and gosh, this person was so angry with me. I was angry with them, and I hadn't really, I spent a few days trying to process it without prayer. And usually prayer, what I found, accelerates our internal processing. I've just found that prayer helps us, prayer and worship accelerates the internal processing of difficult emotional situations, difficult situations to understand. Prayer accelerates the process of internal processing. Well, finally, after a few, 3-4 days of trying to, interpret the situation on my own, process the situation on my own, I finally decided, okay, I need to worship. So I get on my guitar. This was, 3, 4, 5 days ago, and I sit on the bed, and no one's around, just me and the Lord, and I'm singing out a song, just an authentic song. I'm crying, just getting a lot of emotion out. And one of the things that I mentioned to God was, Lord, I selfishly want to worship. I selfishly want to connect with you, because I know that in the places of worship, that is where I connect with you the quickest, and that is where I break through the fastest. It's almost selfishness to worship, to deal with my issues, because I know that this is the most efficient way to deal with my issues. And I heard the Lord say, it's not selfishness, Joel, it's wisdom. And it was like a dad talking to me, like, no, that's not selfishness, it's wisdom. It's wisdom to want to be found where the worshipers are. When the anger passes through, when everything is difficult, when life is extremely difficult, and you want to either find yourself with bitterness or find yourself in anger, you should make it your goal to find yourself where the worshipers are, because that's where freedom is. Also, so I'm just kind of pushing through in worship and just kind of really, trying to, just connect with God. And I'm having this really beautiful moment with the Lord after some time. And then, just in this moment of deep peace, in this moment of tranquility with God, I get a flash of anger against the particular person that I have an issue with, or I've had an issue with, falling out with. And I was like, oh God, I forgive this person. And then I heard the Lord say, don't just forgive and move on so quickly. I want you to feel a little bit of the anger. So then I just let myself feel, let the anger bubble up a little bit. And then, this is what I heard God say, but the heart of God, the heart of Jesus, Joel, the heart of Jesus isn't to be angry at them. The heart of Jesus is to be angry for them. Be angry. Don't be angry at them because of, how poorly they treated you. Be angry for the fact that they live a sub-level life. Be angry for the fact that they're tormented by their own internal bitterness. Be angry for the fact that they don't walk in joy regularly. Be angry for the fact that they aren't as happy as they can be. Be angry for the fact that they are lonely behind the walls of their pride. Be angry for them. You need to move from fighting with them in arguments to fighting for them in prayer. And it just when I first heard that, I was like, oh my God, I'm not even sure that's the Lord. It's so gross, so good, wow. And I was like, oh wow, it's so good. I instantly had to write it down. But then, I went to go write this down, and I was thinking about how the Lord poured out wrath on Israel. And most of the anger and wrath that God poured out on Israel was for their own good. Israel had reached a point where they were murdering babies and sacrificing them to Molech. It would almost be wrong if God stepped in and did nothing. And at this point, I begin to realize that The righteous anger of God isn't necessarily angry at people because of their sins. The righteous anger of God is angry for people because of the dangers of their sins. Even in his anger, even in his righteous anger, he's still for us and not against us.